Hi everyone. Um, this is an earlier time than usual, but God already gave me something, and so we're doing this now. Um, it was, and also it's very windy outside, and sometimes when it's windy like it is here, you can lose power for a little bit. So, uh, again, that's why we're doing this now. Um, so I had went upstairs. What time is it now? Around noon or close to noon. Um, well, sometime between 11:30 and noon, I think. Anyway, I had just sat down in the chair in the garage, and I had put a mini can of root beer in the freezer, and it was cold, so I had just opened it up and taken one drink out of it. And I already had my camera on because I saw the cardinal was out and everything. Well, that'll change, and I wasn't even out there for like a couple minutes. But I just got situated in the chair, and I look up, and there's just this chocolate lab come just wandering into the garage, and my first thought, well, I had a lot of thoughts, but she came over and she looked at my arms and my feet, and I very thankful for a friendly dog, because all I could think was, well, if she were not friendly, she wouldn't be licking me all over. She didn't get my scar, so good with that. I could tell she was thirsty, so I used the bucket I feed the squirrels with to pour a bottle of water in, which I had in my walker. And she did slobber in my root beer, so since she's not my dog, I didn't drink any more root beer. But when I already had the camera on there, and then but as soon as I saw her, it just went through my head. Oh, this is what today's devotional is. That's pretty easy. There's a lost dog in here. Um, I told her to lie down, and she did, and it's like, okay, so um, she probably just escaped, and I posted on one of our local Facebook groups. That's what you do, and then I called the non-emergency police line, and they said, "Is she a chocolate lab?" And I said, "Yes, she is." And I said, "What's her name?" And the police officer said, uh, "Well, we have someone looking for her, and her name's River." And I said, "Hey, River." And she turned her head and came over, and was like, I said, this is her. I have her. And I said, I can't do anything with her. But anyway, he said he would call uh, the owners, and just a couple minutes later, a car turned, and River looked up and ran to the car, and the mom and everything. And I guess they have a really high fence, and she keeps jumping over it and escaping. So I already knew. She was lost, and then she was found, and her name was River, and it's like, that's all a little too obvious. Like, easy to make up something. I mean, to find uh, where the story is in that. So the whole thing was less than 10 minutes. Um, Apparently, she knows some of the other neighbors and has been to their homes, and So I guess I won't be surprised when River comes visiting and I know where she lives. Oh, I should have got the phone number, but um, she's just a couple blocks away. So, um, anyway, so the prodigal son is what came to my mind, and that's Luke 15:11 through 22. Again, I'm going to read it off the computer. What version do I have this on? I think it's NIV because I didn't change it from last night. So give me a minute to read through it. And again, if I make any kind of mistakes, I do have speech issues. I also have vision issues. So the print, even though it's as large, as zoomed in, as large as the computer will let me, it's still blurry. So let me just go ahead and read this. Um, so verse 11 out of Luke 15. Jesus continued, "There was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, forgive me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.'" It's actually not just 22. I misread that. But anyway, um, what the father said to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. "Your brother has come," he replied, "and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound." The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him." "My son," the father said, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." It's actually Luke 15:11 through 32. I just wrote it down wrong. Anyway, the whole point of all that was uh, River the Chocolate Lab. He was lost, not even just for a few minutes, even, and then he was found, and he was welcomed home, even though it'd been a few minutes, not hours, days, weeks, months, years. And River will escape again because she does this apparently. And but she was welcomed home, even though, the whole thing just lasted uh, not long. Um but just being lost and then found, and um, people being happy to see you. So if you are lost, like, and you haven't been home again, whatever your situation, go back. Um, you can do that. Whatever it is you're going back to. Um, oh yeah, I mean if it's safe, of course. But mainly, I think it's if you've gotten away from God, you can go back to Him. Um, Happy to have you back. I know. I don't. I'll save that story for another day. But I think many of us have times where we've just uh, taken a break from God or gone away from Him. He never leaves us. It's just we do at times for various reasons. But uh, some of us make our way back home to Him. So uh, you can do that too. And I don't know if River will get any kind of rewards or treats or anything like that for having once again escaped. But it's just that, River's mom was very happy that she was safe, and then that I gave her some water, and called the police department, and um, that's really pretty much it. If you're whatever situation you're lost in, um, find a way to go home, whatever that means to you, whether it be God or your family or a friend, or you don't have to be lost like forever. Um, I worked at a homeless shelter for a couple of years, and I met many people who were lost, and some wanted to be lost on purpose, and uh, going home was just not an option. Um, and some people, their families did want them to come home. I had a friend, a couple of them, whose families tried to do everything to get them come home, but they weren't ready at that time. They still needed to be lost, and but whatever your situation is, there's a way to figure it out and to get back where you were. So there's something else I want to say, but I'm missing it, so I'm not really sure. I think it's just for another day. But it's just really short. As soon as I saw River Dog, um, don't stay lost, be found, whatever that means to you. So, again, you can always email me. Um, Read the Prodigal Son, Luke 15:11-32. Um, if you're in the path of any of these storms, like, stay safe. Prayers appreciated here because tomorrow is supposed to be like a super bad. We're like right in the middle of I think we're like in the five 5 category, or right in the middle of the what the worst color is red, right? Or right there in the middle, and it usually goes around us, so really don't need tornadoes. Really don't need that, but I know God will keep us safe. I do have a doctor appointment in the afternoon. I was hoping it was in the morning, but it's in the afternoon. So I hope that's uh, nothing starts till after that. But also, most important for prayer is the storm's supposed to start at the same time when schools are letting out. So that makes for issues, especially for we have a lot of rural schools, school districts, and everything, and so that's uh, parents have to make decisions on days like tomorrow. Do they go pick up their kids from school? Not all parents can do that. So just prayers that if something happens, that the storms wait till all the various kids get home to where they need to be, and parents can get off work and whatever needs to happen. Anyway, let me get this uploaded. Um, I'm very thankful God just like had this one just walk through the door. Um, so anyway, we'll see what tomorrow brings. And thank you for watching, and I hope I made some kind of sense. The prodigal son popped into my head right away. Um, just just the whole um the very last verse, the very last few words is he was lost and is found. So have a nice rest of your weekend.